Alrighty, Algebra 1, welcome back to solving systems, but graphically. So in this video, we'll go over these three examples, and there are timestamps for where you would like to go if you'd like to check your solution. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's start off with A. So A says, find the solution and write equations for the blue and red lines. Okay, so anytime we're asked to find a solution and we're given a graph to a system of linear equations, all we really have to look for is that point of intersection. And here it is. That is the point of intersection. That's the solution to our system. And that is located at -4, comma, -7. So at -4, comma, -7. So the solution -4, comma, -7. Remember that horizontal detail comes first, that x value comes first, and then the y. Okay, and then the next thing that they want us to do is to write equations for the blue and red lines. So let's start off with our blue. So anytime I'm writing an equation, I definitely need to find a slope, and I need to find another point that's on the line. So let's go ahead and write this point. Let's write the equation to the blue line in point slope form. So I'm going to write that in the structure y minus k equals m, and then x minus h. So we know m is going to be our slope. Let's figure out what our slope is. Remember, slope is change in y over change in x. So to get from one point to the next, I'm noticing that I need to go down 1 and to the right 2, down 1 and right 2. That's my consistent pattern. So my change in y is down 1, so it's going to be -1. And my change in x is going to be 2 because I'm moving to the right 2 each time. So my slope is going to be -1/2. And I'm going to replace that with the m here. Now, to figure out what goes in for h and k, I just need to pick a point on that blue line. I can pick any point on that blue line. So let me clean up this picture a little bit. Let's go ahead and pick this point. So this point has the coordinates 2, comma, -10. So let's go ahead and substitute that into our equation. That 2 is in the x place, so we're going to put this in for h. So we're going to put 2 right here. The -10 is going to go in for k. And here's our equation. So I have y minus -10 equals -1/2 times the quantity of x minus 2. Now we're going to simplify this equation a little bit because I've got a double negative right here. And so we're going to simplify that up, and we can rewrite the equation as y plus 10 equals -1/2 times the quantity of x minus 2. So that's an equation for the blue line. And there's more than one correct equation. We could have picked any point on that blue line, or you could have written it in slope-intercept form. So for the red line, let's write that one in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form has the structure y equals mx plus b. So let's go ahead and figure out what our slope is going to be. So let's find the pattern, our change in y and our change in x. I'm noticing to get from one point to the next, I have to go up 3. So my change in y is going to be 3, and I'm moving to the right once. So my change in x is 1. So my slope is change in y over change in x, or 3 over 1. And I can even clean this up a little more and just write that as 3, because 3 divided by 1 is just 3. Okay, now the b in this equation stands for your y-intercept. And the y-intercept I see is right here at 5. So I'm going to take that 5 and replace it with the b. And here are the equations that match. Here are some equations that match the blue and the red lines shown. Again, there's more than one correct equation for the red line if you chose to write it in point slope form, but if you're writing it in slope intercept form, then the one that's written in red, that is the only one that's correct. Okay, let's go on to B. So in B, one of the equations in the system is already graphed, and we have to graph the other. So first of all, I don't know which one is graphed. Let's go ahead and figure that part out first. Let me look at the slope. Okay, so I'm noticing to get from one point to the next, I have to go up 3 and right 1, up 3 and right 1. So that is kind of leaning me towards the fact that the equation that's graphed is the second equation. I notice that the second equation has a y-intercept of -1. Let's double check that on the graph. And here it is. It does have a y-intercept of -1. So I know that the second equation is the one that's graphed. Okay, let's go ahead and graph that first equation. I'm going to pick a different color and let's do that in blue. The second equation is also given to us in slope-intercept form. So this tells me that this is my y-intercept. So I'm going to start off over here at 4. And then I'm going to use my slope. This is your slope. To plot more points. So my slope is 4/3. So that means I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 3 to plot my next point. 1, 2, 3. So that means that here's another point on the graph. And then I can go up 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3. And there's another point on the graph. So that's a little messy, but actually let me make that a little neater. There we go. That's a little messy, but I've since graphed it, and we can find our point of intersection, which is right here. So here's my solution to the system, and let's see. So the coordinates to that are at 3 because it went to the right 3, and it went up 8. So the solution is 3, 8. Okay, now for the last part, they want us to write a system of linear equations that has a solution, -2, 3. So for this one, it would be really convenient for us to choose to write these equations in point-slope form. So point-slope form has the structure y minus k equals m x minus h. So I know that both equations, y minus k equals m x minus h. I know that both equations have to have this point, -2, 3. So I can just go ahead and substitute -2 in for h and 3 in for k into both of those equations. So let's do that here. And we're going to substitute -2 in for h. Alrighty, I see that I've got 2 negatives right there, so let's go ahead and clean that up. So this is going to be x plus 2. This is going to be x plus 2 right here again. Okay, so now to make them different equations, we just need different slopes. We can pick any slope we want and it will be correct. So let's give the green line a slope of 1. Let's give the blue line a slope of -3/2. So here are two equations where the solution is going to be -2/3, and we can plot that on our graph. So let's go ahead and plot the blue line first. So the blue line has the slope of -2/3. So I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 2, down 1, 2, 3, right 2. And I can continue that pattern for as long as I want. The green line also goes through that point and has a slope of +1. So the green line is going to look like this. And we're done. Thanks for watching. Feel free to go back and rewatch anything you need to, or watch the video on substitution.